Hello everyone, this is Chidanand from Kratz Infotech NG. Welcome to this tutorial on GitLab self-hosted runner. What I plan to demonstrate in this quick tutorial is first how to set up a local runner. A runner that can be connected from a local Windows machine onto a project which is on GitLab server. After that, just to keep this a little engaging, I will pull the Git repository, which is on the GitLab server, a code which is based out of Maven, a simple Java-based Maven web application, pull it out here and use the local installed tools like Maven and Java, which is put up on the path of this local runner, and then compile it, package it. Maybe use a simple curl that is also installed on the local machine and go ahead and do a deployment onto a Tomcat server, which is also running locally on a Windows desktop. For those who use GitLab server, it is predominantly used for the CI agents that it automatically provisions on the GitLab server environment. But there are a lot of use cases where you would want to have your own runners that run well within your ecosystem, maybe utilizing some of your proprietary tools or connecting to some of your servers which are for some reason prohibited access from the GitLab server. For this demo, I plan to utilize this Git repository or a GitLab repository, which has got a simple Maven-based project. There's a pom.xml, and out here, it's a web application. There's a simple index.jsp. Now, let me go to the settings section and CI/CD. You will find runners. There is something called as a project runner that is specific to this particular project, or if you are a part of a larger group, you can assign these runners to be made available. Everything depends upon your use case. And there's the instance runners. These are the default ones that is provided by courtesy GitLab. Now we don't want to use this. We want to have our own project runner. A tag is nothing but a name, just like how you have the tags in the node names in, let's say, Jenkins agents, similar to that. So I'll give a tag called Windows. You can put multiple tags you want with comma separated ones. This is okay. Do you want to run untagged jobs? Ideally, you want a criteria based on which the jobs has to be routed to this particular runner and not the other shared runners. Now, I don't want this. Configuration, there's an optional stuff, but I can put something like this. And that's all that is required for me to go ahead and start provisioning my local runner. Now, a few more information has to be put in as to what platform is your runner going to be running on. Now, these are the three operating systems and on the cloud as well. And then these two container specific runners are supported. So for me, it is a simple one. It's a Windows runner. It tells me go ahead and download this GitLab runner.exe. Now where to get that? There's a URL. If you see here, this is the URL from where you're supposed to download the simple executable and then put it in a folder and then launch it to register the runner with a sort of a token. I already have this put out in one of my, oops, let me go ahead and delete this. Probably, I was just checking the configuration first time. So, all right. So this is the folder where I have got this GitLab runner.exe downloaded already. Right. So let me just launch it with register the URL and a token. A token is a unique identifier that that lets your local runner register and get attached to the project. Okay, GitLab sounds good. Desktop name is all right. Important one, what do you want to be an executor? So whenever you're going to run the GitLab runner, what shell, if at all you have bash, you can ask for bash. I don't have bash. I will use the shell, and I will kind of configure this to run PowerShell. Shell is good. That is the default one, I guess. Okay, I'll have to make a small change. All the configuration that we put on gets added in this file. Let me take a look at. There's an ID for the runner. There's a token. PWSS. This is not something that I have. Instead, I have this PowerShell. Let me just go and modify that and save it. So once that is done, all that you got to do is launch the runner by using, because it's already pre-configured, just say run. This is as good as running your Jenkins agent and connecting it to the server. As long as this prompt is running, your runner will be attached. All right, you have successfully registered your runner, and the runner is tagged as Windows. So when I put in GitLab ci.yml or the YML file for putting out the pipeline, I'll have to reference this using this particular tag so that the job gets run using my runner. Let me go ahead and put my gitlab-ci.yml file, which is the setting for declaring a pipeline script. So I will say new file. All right, gitlab-ci.yml. There are a couple of templates. I don't want any of these templates. First, I need to run this on the local runner and then maybe run some command scripts. I don't want PowerShell because I'm not good at PowerShell. So I put out a very, very simple YML just to check if at all first of all, my local runner kicks off, and then I have set a couple of path. If at all you take a look at my CMD, this is my local machine. So I already have, let's say, Maven home. I have Java home, and I have Java hyphen version. Java 1.17 version of JDK that is installed. Now, I don't know if this will be available to the runner or not. So the first job, I'm going to put up a simple job called build. This is a part of the stage build tags hyphen Windows. Now I want this job to run on the Windows, the runner which is labeled with Windows. Echo, building the project, cmd/c. Now this will enable the runner to run the cmd or the command prompt. PowerShell, if at all you're good at PowerShell, that is the default one. I'm not really good at PowerShell. So first, out in the runner, I'm going to echo the path, maven home, curl. I also want curl for deploying. I already installed curl on my local machine. And then maybe dir, just to check if at all I get all the source code of the repository. Okay, so let me go ahead and commit it. And if everything goes well, this should automatically trigger my pipeline. Okay, so if at all I go to build and pipelines, okay, pipeline got automatically triggered. And if I take a look at this stuff, a lot of information has been passed on from the GitLab server onto my local pipeline, sorry, onto my local agent. Okay, what all has been printed out? All right, desktop, that's the one that I wanted. Building the project, that's what I printed. Path, all right, I see Java path, JDK bin. I find JDK bin, and Maven home is there, curl version is there, and a lot of other things look good. Now that I see pretty much all the tools and the repository that has been pulled down to my local runner, let me go ahead and spin up a Tomcat server and maybe do a Maven build and then deploy it onto my local Tomcat server. Since I do not have too many machines, I'm doing all of this on the same machine. But you can visualize if you have a local runner inside your environment, and that is connected to pretty much any of your end systems to which you would like to go ahead and either deploy, push code, or interact with it. All that connections would be possible with your local runner. For now, I do not have too many things. So what I'll do is I have a local Tomcat. Let me go to the bin folder and let me start the Tomcat server. And this is the same Tomcat server. There's a username and password using which the deployment can happen. And I will use curl to go ahead and deploy my application. This is the web app folder. And if you take a look at the configuration of this, Tomcat users.xml, there is a user called deployer and a password of this guy is deployer. So I'll use this credential and use curl to go ahead and deploy onto my local Tomcat, which should be up and running at localhost 8081. So I'll go ahead and modify this YML file, add another stage which will have the deployment instructions. And just to keep it simple, I'm using curl, which is already installed on my local machine to do a deployment. So there are two stages now, build and a deploy stage. In the build stage, I'm doing MVN package. MVN will trigger off the maven script. Package will bundle the application in a WAR file. And I'm passing something called as an artifact so that the next job will have an access to the WAR file that is built in this particular job. And out here, the second one, I'm just doing a curl upload and going ahead and deploying this using the username and password right here in plain text. Not a good thing to do, but then if you know how to inject secrets, which is again environment variables, you can pretty much change this and use those variables. But right now, that's not my concern. So let me just go ahead and run this. And I think I provided a context called local deploy. If everything goes well, the WAR file should get deployed at the context root which I've specified. All right, this may take a while, so let me just pause the video and then come back once this is ready. All right, now hang on. This looks good, fast. So this one passed. Let me take a look at the second one, which is the deployment. Hang on. Pipelines. Yeah, there is this one, just job deploy. All right, curl upload mvn web app.war as local deploy. Now, if I take a look at where's my Tomcat server here? All right, local deploy.war. Okay, now let me take a look at the web applications. Local deploy.war. Local-deploy. Okay, that's my application that has been locally deployed. As simple as that. Spinning up a local runner, configuring it, and connecting it to any of the subsystems. After connecting it, of course, to the GitLab server is as simple as that. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I will leave the documentation or the GitLab repository URL, which is a public repository, so that you can refer to it and also refer to my gitlab-ci.yml file. And of course, you'll have to modify it based upon your requirements. And if you run into any issues, kindly leave me a note and I'll try to address it as soon as I can. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching my video. You have a great day.